Well, world, it is Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth. It's a sunny day and it's already kind of blistering hot. Laurel and I rode our bikes up to Bud's and kind of rode around through town. It's nice in the shade, but that sun is warm. And I mentioned Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the celebration of when the last slaves, which were in Texas, were finally informed that they were free. Some, I think, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation and a couple months after the Civil War ended, they were finally told and released. Partly because Texas was so far remote and didn't have a lot of Union soldiers, but it's amazing that so much time had passed before that actually happened. So I understand some states are considering making it a formal holiday, and there's some pressure on the United States to make it a national holiday, and I sure hope it happens. Today's devotional is called Flock of Sheep or Pack of Wolves, written by Jennifer Brownell. And she based it on Matthew chapter 10, verse 16a. We recently had that in worship. Jesus said, "See, I am sending you out like sheep into the midst of wolves." And Jennifer writes, "When I was a child, I had a persistent dream of being adopted by a pack of wolves. I loved the idea of romping all day in a forested meadow and curling up all night in a warm puppy pack. I never thought that much about what it would be like to have a sheep family. I had it backwards, as it turns out. The flocking instinct of sheep is so strong that if there are no other sheep on hand, a single sheep will attempt to form a flock with any other animals around, ducks, pigs, even dreamy little girls. But wolves, I recently learned, will almost never accept another animal into their pack. Childhood fantasies notwithstanding, Jesus calls us to be sheep instead of wolves. And having learned about their flocking instincts, I understand why. Samaritan women, fisher folks, even tax collectors who collaborated with the oppressor, Jesus flocked with all kinds, not just with his own kind. Jesus sends us into a world that says we should form packs only with those who look, talk, think, act, and pray the same way. He calls us to be part of unlikely flocks. And if we don't have one, to form one and to keep growing it. In other words, Jesus sends us out to be sheep in a world of wolves. Jennifer's prayer. Shepherd Jesus, we follow you even if it seems ridiculous or impractical or dangerous, because we believe that through you is life. Amen. And Jennifer's devotional challenges me a little bit to think about getting out of my comfort zones, to not just be around people that think like me or act like me, but to be around all different kinds of people, to be willing to listen to them and show them God's love through how I love and care for them and for others. Not trying to impose my beliefs upon them, but rather just being a caring, loving spirit in their midst. Encouraging them to do good and finding myself doing good in the process, perhaps. It's not necessarily the way our society or in our culture works all the time. We get a lot of pressure to do things for ourselves and to improve ourselves and to get what we can for ourselves. But that's really more of a wolf mentality. So being a sheep, it might be a good thing for us to do occasionally, to learn how to flock with others and to form community with people that aren't necessarily like us. And then we find when we're flocking with people who aren't like us, that they are in fact like us. So think about that today. Contemplate it. Try to stay cool when you can. Drink lots of water. And I'll talk to you soon.